Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and boy, I've got an exciting video for you today as I am going to be playing my brand new Clan Wars reward tank on my main account. It is the VK7201K. Now, I did manage to get this last season of maneuvers last year on my free-to-play account with like a 50,000 bond bid, and knowing that this is arguably the best tank for the random queue inside the game, I must have this one on my main account, and I'm still deciding what I want to get on my free-to-play account this time round. Last time I got the ST62 version 2. I knew what I was getting myself into with that vehicle. It's never really truly exciting, but it's still a very strong medium tank for the random queue. This vehicle, however, I knew exactly what I was getting myself in for, as I have played about 75 games or so of this vehicle on my free-to-play account. But you know, when you're on your main account, it just feels different. So I literally got this vehicle like the other 9,000 people who had the option to pick this tank for finishing in the top 9,000 of maneuvers yesterday. And so the fact that you're seeing this video on Friday, which I'm pre-recording on Thursday because it's my anniversary and I want to try and get ahead of things at the moment. You're 10 years married today, boys and girls. Amazing. I don't know how I've managed it, right? How have I managed to convince like the girl of my dreams to stay with me for 10 years? I don't know. It seems to be working out, at least for now. Touch wood. I'll be saying the same in another decade from now, right? But I digress. Let me focus on the question at hand. So got this vehicle on Wednesday, and it already has managed to give me one of my highest damage games of all time. Whether it is going to be my highest damage game, you're just going to have to wait and see. So if you want to know what my previous record was before this game, it was 10,931 in a Kampfpanzer 07PE. Which was on an assault map. Can you believe it? Done in like a 10-minute period. This time, we're playing the VK7201 on Muravanka in a long-winded standard battle game. So this vehicle, why is it arguably the best heavy tank for the random queue? Because now that Wargaming have buffed the Panzer VII, that vehicle kind of competes a lot more closely with this vehicle because they didn't buff this tank, and quite rightly so, when they buffed the Panzer VII. Well, this tank, it just basically has more damage per minute, so it's got like another 10% damage per minute, 150 over the Panzer VII, but most importantly, it has 750 alpha, whereas the Panzer VII has 560, and so you can just make so much better trades with this tank on your opponents compared to what you can do with the Panzer VII. Hitting for an extra 190 means you don't have to expose yourself so much. It means that your opponents forget about you in the 15 to 18 seconds or so that this tank takes to reload. On top of that, it does actually have a slightly better weak point on the side by I think about like 10 millimeters or so than the Panzer VII. And so that means that you can side scrape better. But still, if your opponents load gold against you at tier 9 and tier 10, your weak point on the side is still a hindrance to your chances of being able to get through the game. And I'm going to show you exactly what that weak point looks like right on the side here. And hopefully, boom, right through the side of my opposing VK, who's probably picked that tank up today as well and giving it a go. Well, it doesn't look like his RNG was as good as mine this game. With the extra accuracy we're getting from the vents, and I believe I had the accuracy field mod on this tank at this point. We're actually managing to get these shots in. But what you might be noticing is this reticle looks very green against some very big targets, right? And that's because this vehicle's main aspect, apart from the slight DPM, apart from the weak point on the side being a little bit better, apart from that alpha damage, is the heat pen. The heat pen on this thing is ridiculous. 350 heat pen mean that this is just the dream scenario for this tank. We're dealing with thickly armored tanks, a VKK, a Jaegeru, a 260, all tanks that usually you struggle to be able to go through. However, this vehicle with its 350 heat pen, it basically just neutralizes a lot of the plates that just you're not meant to neutralize inside World of Tanks. And I'm hopefully going to be able to get another little loop shell right into the side of that VK. Oh, baby, let's go. That's demoralizing for him. And yeah, I have to admit, at the time, considering I haven't lost a single hit point, and I was up to 6,400 damage, and also we're in the perfect storm of a game where my team seemed to be just holding and not doing too much, I was starting to get a little excited. And it looks like the enemy team was getting a little excited here as well. So I'm going to intuition switch to an HE shell. The FV405 is going to crest the ridge and boom, 1,059 damage to him. And now the Progetto is going to be coming after us. So I think to myself, okay, I got to try and get my back to the players on my side while also mitigate as much damage from this Progetto. So I actually managed to get him into a better position where now I've got my frontal armor towards him and I'm not going to be dancing around in front of the Jaeger. I can get safe. I put another HE shell in there for a 900 and I'm going to ram that Progetto for a little bit of extra and get myself hopefully into cover for what I thought the VK was coming after us. The Progetto puts one more shell into us. I'm out trading this Progetto quite well right now. Well, even trades, but considering I had to deal with the FV405 at the same time, it's going good. And with those two HE pens, we're now up to 8,700 damage. But now here comes the Batchat 15558 stunning us. I'm going to switch to a heat round here, thinking I can be able to get the Jaeger, but I'm also worried about that Progetto coming round. And we can see the Jaeger actually backs off, thinking, whoa, what's this? What's this tank? Why won't it die? And B, why is it just absolutely clubbing us so hard right now? Well, it's the VKK, man. This is arguably the best heavy for the random queue. So luckily, another Clan Wars reward tank, the ST62 version 2, makes their way in. The Jaeger misses them, and that is going to allow our ST62 version 2 to get them. And I'm thinking the Progetto is now going to be focused on that player, so I've got to get around this corner as quick as I can and finish off the Progetto. And our damage total is now over 9,000. But unfortunately for the ST62, I think they just tanked 3 shots from the TVP. Okay, we're in a 3 versus 5 scenario. I think our strategy right now has to go after the TVP. I ping where I'm going to go to try and get along the side of the TVP and be able to catch them out. But for some reason, the ST62 version 2 has just decided that they are committing. They go in, they ram, they put 2 shots in. And are they going to get rid of this TVP with the artillery support? Oh no, the TVP is reloading, but the ST62 just about manages it. Okay, so I'm thinking now, get in position, try and spot for this ST62, take some pressure off him, but unfortunately the artillery gets a shot. And I was actually pinging down south to say to the ST62, why not go down there? But whoa, with that shot, clutch shot into the side of the DBV-152, now our damage is into 5 figures. 10,000 damage, 2,800 still left on the enemy team. And I'm just backing off to try and give my artillery enough time. But the artillery leaves the DBV on like 2 hit points. And unfortunately, the E50M's going north as well. So I decide to myself, okay, the E50M's going to flank me. I just have to go ham. But unfortunately, the FV is there. Okay. Aim for just the lower plate. Oh no, boys and girls, we take 900 damage. DBV flanking us, and we don't go through the first shot. We don't pen or game, luckily. We managed to bounce the DBV. We look back towards the Jaeger. Sorry, not the Jaeger, the FV215B183, and I'm going to go for this DBV. Finish him off right, but the heat shell gets absorbed by the gun by the 5 health DBV. Not like this. Got to ricochet him one more time. We bounce him. Okay, here comes the FV215B183. Just try and make the most out of this that we can. The artillery hits us. Let's just put in that one shot into the FV215B183. 790 damage dealt there. Our damage total now to... I will be back, Arnie, in the VKK as we do 10,840 damage in the very first day of having this tank on our main account. We blocked over 9,000 damage as well in this game. What an absolute monster round for a monster tank. Darn, that shell failing to go through the side of the FV215B183. I just hit those tracks, and remember, tracks count as good space protection, and the heat rounds on this tank, I didn't really have time to intuition switch to an AP to go through there. Maybe I should have shot the guy in the top of the turret, probably would have been a cleaner shell rather than going through the upper hull. My reactions with the poor shell velocity on the heat rounds, I choked, that's all there is to say. If I'd caught that FV, maybe there would have been a chance that this would have been 11,500, and if I hadn't bounced off the DBV, I should have had AP for that shell as well. So it shows you these heat rounds absolutely amazing if you're calm, cool, and collected against those thickly armored plates that are flat with no space protection. They're not great for when you start to deviate into the hell that is Muravanka with all of the fences and all of the little buildings that will be able to absorb those heat shells. Nevertheless, I believe this is the second highest damage I've ever dealt inside World of Tanks. I've had over 10,000 damage many, many times in like about 10 different vehicles, but never quite 11k, just shy with that 10,931 in the Kampfpanzer. But yeah, to get like so close on the very first day in this vehicle really shows me that this thing is an absolute powerhouse. And so if any of you who have gone through maneuvers are sitting on the fence thinking about what vehicle you should get, I recommend this one. Now, don't get me wrong, the ST62 version 2, it's a great tank, but it's just not outrageous like this vehicle is. This tank is extreme, and it's capable of some extreme things, whereas the ST62 version 2 is way more consistent. 907, probably pretty good for more competitive, but these days when you look at its statistics compared to something like a 430U or a 140 or even an ST62 version 2, it's still a good pick, but the 116 F3, that's a funky pick in the right situation if you've got a very slow game and you need some gun depression. And the T95 E6, that thing's just a damage per minute beast, but on my word, having to deal with that weak point on top, 121B, don't pick that. Come on, just get it inside the bond store. It's easy. The only reason why you'd pick that is if you had all the others and you just get it for free to save yourself 15,000 bonds. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was Uncle QuickyBaby getting so close and bouncing one shot from a new all-time damage record. I have to admit, I thought about this one a little bit afterwards, and I hope by talking it through and living that painful bounce and that painful moment again, that hopefully the healing will begin. Until next time, I really think this tank is capable of those absolute insane results. Anyway, that's it for today. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments down below if you have a VKK or if you're trying to get your hands on one. And if you're watching this video as it goes live on Friday, I'm going live all day on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby with actually 2 new sets of drops. Last weekend, I sweated like an absolute pig in the Charmura to complete some relatively difficult challenges that Wargaming set, so I get to reward all of you with double loot this weekend. So come by, say hi, hopefully check out a few more good games, and get some fantastic goodies along the way. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.